Welcome back then, you FM legends. Here we are, we're back with our Sheffield Wednesday save, and we've done really well. We've started the season well. As you saw in our last episode, we're about 7th place. We just played Sheffield United in the Cup and beaten them. Now we're on the 7th of February. We've just obviously completed our tough period in January, and we've been a bit hit and miss. We are sitting in 10th place at the moment, and here are the fixtures. From that point of us playing Sheffield United, we did go on. We got beat 3-0 with the Haaland hat-trick at home to Manchester City. We beat Fulham with goals from Gyökeres and Xhaka. We lost 2-0 at at home to Liverpool. We then got good wins against Tottenham, Leicester and Nottingham Forest. We then lost 2-1 in a very tight game against Manchester United and still performing really well. We get knocked out in the Cup on penalties in the quarter-final of the EFL Cup by Newcastle. A good 5-2 win against Villa. We lose 1-0 to Newcastle again. A 2-2 draw with West Ham. And then we get a 3-0 home win against Middlesbrough. And we win in the third round of the FA Cup. And then we hit this bit of bad form really. We weren't playing that bad. We did perform really well. It's just we became unlucky and just things weren't going our way. We're getting the 1-0 defeat there. Doesn't really help that Granit started doing Xhaka things again. Got himself sent off. He's so good when he's playing, but maybe I knew this was going to happen. He does get sent off quite a lot. I think he's the most booked player in the league, but he is a very good player. Whether or not I keep him or not now, because he is costing us in some games, is another thing, but one to consider. We then lose in another tight game, 2-1 to Everton. Newcastle beat us comfortably at their place, and then we lose 1-0 again with a very late goal against Burnley. But it continued because when we played Sheffield United at home, because we drew them again in the Cup, they got a 2-2 draw. And we didn't play particularly well in that game either. We were just sort of struggling to score. We did get 2 in that game, but in all the Premier League games we were just struggling. It's something, the click's gone, we just are hitting a bit of rough form. So let's see if we could get out of that, and let me show you quickly who we brought in January and who left. So Chimiti, who we had in on loan from Sporting, he's gone back. He wasn't happy, he wanted to play more football, but Lorenzo Luca's been smashing him in. I think he's got about 20 goals already by this point. So it's been hard to give him game time with Luca in so much good form. He was unhappy, so I just said fine, off you go, we'll let you go back to your club. We signed this lad Rikemle from Vasco. We got him for 6.75. Young, can play left back, and also I'm trying to convert him to play in that defensive winger position for us, because I think he's got the attributes and will perform well there in future. So he might take some time to bed in as we are transforming him into a new position. Ardagula came in, 11.25. Another one who's young, he's 20 years old, but 11.25. I think we didn't really need him, but when I saw that it was available for such a cheap price, I thought, we've got money in the bank, I think this is a great investment, let's bring him in. I'm not quite sure where he's going to fit in at the moment in terms of whether he's going to play as shadow striker, but he's very versatile, he can play in different positions for us, and I think in future he's going to be awesome. Basically, look at his stats. We also brought in Mark Travers, and that's because Jamie Cumming kicked off. He wanted first team football, but again, our Polish keeper is our number one. He's not going to be our number one, and he was on like 30 grand a week was Jamie Cumming. He wanted to leave, he's gone to West Ham quite cheaply, so we brought in Mark Travers. So on the outs, Marco Bettini has gone back out on loan. He's worth about 30 million quid, but I don't think he's ever going to play for us, to be honest. I've not registered him this year. Yeah, we're just going to sell him eventually. I couldn't get anyone to buy him, so I sent him out on loan to keep that value up and keep him playing. Young Sangbing, he was kicking off, wanted to play first team football because the World Cup I think was coming around. He wanted to ensure he was in the squad. Tried to sell him, couldn't get any money for him in straight transfer, but he did go on loan, and he went on loan to Mexico, I believe, yeah. And we got £1.7 million for that loan deal, so quite happy with that. And we got 650,000 for Jamie Cumming, who's a good backup goalkeeper, but like I say, he wanted first team football, and he also saved us quite a bit on the wage budget, getting rid of his wages. Also financially, we're looking way better. We've got £50 million in the bank, Still got a couple of million in terms of transfer budget left. Didn't really need to spend what I did in January, but with those players available, I thought it's got a good investment for us, so let's get that done. In terms of debts, we're looking so much better there. As you can see, we're 12 million net debt now, so much better off. But we do have this sort of like long-term miscellaneous debt here that we're paying off, but that's going to take a long time to get rid of. As you can see, that's like till 2050 to get rid of it, but we're in a much more stable position now. So here we are then, we've jumped forward, we've now played 37 games and we've done well. We have managed to make ourselves solid mid-table club this season. A good improvement from last year. Lorenzo Lucas bagged 26 goals in the Premier League for us, which has been really good. Norton Cuffy as well, the top assister so far this season. What hasn't helped us is Granit Xhaka with his so many yellow cards. Look, he's had 11 and he's also had about 4 red cards as well, I believe. But definitely a lot of improvements from last year. I'm very pleased with this team, but let me show you this sort of bad run of form we've had, because you know, with a few more wins we could have really been pushing towards Europe. It just hasn't gone our way towards the end of the season. Not really sure what's happened, but we have lost that consistency that we had earlier on in the season. But as you see here, from that 2-2 game with Sheffield United, we lost again to Arsenal, but you know, a good tight game with them. We did smash our rivals, Sheffield United, at their place 5-2, which was very pleasing. Aston Villa, as you can see, we lost 2-0. Granit got himself sent off again, and we won in extra time in the 5th round of the FA Cup against Norwich. We then lose to Manchester United 3-1, but that's understandable. Get a good draw away at Tottenham, a 3-2 win at home to Leicester, and then we get beat by Middlesbrough 2-1 in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. So a couple of good cup runs this year. We got to quarter-finals of both cup competitions. Just, yeah, bad form at the wrong time, I guess, because as you can see, the bad form continues. We lose 1-0 to Liverpool. Norton Cuffy got himself sent off. We then lost 3-2 to Fulham, 2-1 to Manchester City, and 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. The games were all tight. We're in all of those games. We just, like I say, it just wasn't going our way, and we had hit a bad run of form. Then out of nowhere, we come back with this, and at Ellen Road, it did help. They got a man sent off, but 6-0. Lorenzo Lucas scored 5 in that game, and a full domination from Sheffield Wednesday at Ellen Road, which was very pleasing. We then went at home to this tough tie against Chelsea. Good performance from us, but disappointing. We got another man sent off. Cuffy got sent off again, and we were still managing to perform in that game, and we put ourselves back in the lead. But a 90 plus 5 goal from Sven Botman managed to get Chelsea the point. In our latest game, we were away at Wolves, which was very disappointing. Again, another very late goal. We've ended up losing that 3-2, and Fabio Silva got himself a hat-trick, and we've lost that 1-3-2. Disappointing again, but like I say, the form's just not been there towards the end of the season. From pretty much January onwards, we've just really struggled, and we've picked up so many losses. But hopefully we can make a lot of improvements on that next season as the squad gets used to each other and we make a few more additions. But let's play this last game against Brighton, get this finished, and we will look forward to our season 5 with Sheffield Wednesday in the Premier League, and hopefully we can make that big jump towards Europe when I work my magic in the summer. So we can send the fans off well for the season, sign this season off with a good mid-table finish and 3 points at home. But this will be tough against Brighton. They're a good side. Citadini's done well to win the ball there. Xhaka in midfield, just moving in from left back as he likes to do for us. Gyökeres, he finds Luka, who looks offside, but he puts us in the lead. I think that's quite clear. It was a good 2 or 3 yards off. Don't know why we're waiting for VAR to check this one. There we are. But it's been a good season for us. Much improvement from last year, where we really did spend the most of the season in 16th place, but we were so lucky that the teams below us were just not very good whatsoever. Really allowed us to stay up in the league. Oh, we're 1-0 down, and we're back. yeah, it really helped us to stay up in our first season, because that was really tough. In this year I've seen a lot of improvements, but just got to remember how young this squad is, and sort of we are building for the future. That's probably why we've seen that sort of like lack of inconsistency from them. We'll see what we can do in the summer to try and rectify that, but you know, just sometimes in your good shot, sometimes in your second season you just see a lot of these players start to like link up together and sort of get that bond, whereas over the last couple of seasons we've pretty much built a brand new side. It's going to take time to is that a penalty? It looks like it is. Yeah, it's going to take time for them to come together and build that bond, because yeah, sometimes you don't need the best players, but just having your same team connected, you'll see how you just build up that bond and the team starts to play really well together. Come on, Luca. Right, yeah, no problem. The big Italian stallion's done it for us. That's 1-1. And his 32nd goal of the season. Absolute bargain, bringing in Lorenzo Luca for like 3.8 or whatever we bought him in for. He's been awesome for us. Amrabat pops it inside to Aya, who clips it to Mitoma. He's found some space, puts it in the box, and heads it into the post. That's a goal kick for Sheffield Wednesday. Here we are then at half time. We've had the better of the XG, a little bit of the better of the possession. Brought on Ardagula at half time. Just keep trying to drop him into the team, because he's definitely been one for the future. Needs to keep bedding him in, and hopefully we'll start to see how good he is. Granite's on a yellow. I'm not having the best of game at left back. We'll bring Ferguson on. He does well for us there. And we're going to bring Rakamle on to this left hand side. I'll move Johansson over, because he can play both sides for us. Haven't quite found the answer to that right hand side yet. That's where we seem to struggle a bit. It looks like this game's coming to an end, and it's going to be a point for us on our last game of the season, and there it is. It is 1 point for us. A good result against Brighton, I would say, for that, but sort of does sign off on the season that we just seem to run out of steam and not manage to keep that level of consistency up like I spoke about already. And there is season 4 for us, and that's where we're going to wrap it up now. We've hit 12th place, good solid mid-table performance, which I think is a great achievement considering the bookies again had us just to be like pretty much flat back bottom of the league and to go down. We've done really well so far in terms of looking after those finances, not overspending, bringing in the right place to the club. We are building for the future. We're still putting money into the training ground and to the youth system, because that was pretty much as low as it could get when we first took over at the club. We're only 4 seasons in and we're already in the Premier League. We had back-to-back promotions, and now look at us with a safe mid-table team, and hopefully that is going to allow us to keep recruiting and keep bringing in the right players, because I don't want to overspend, and sometimes the only way you can get in those good players is by giving them astronomical amounts of money, and I don't want to do that. So we'll keep building the way we are doing, and hopefully next season I would really like us to be looking like we're pushing towards one of those European places. And I think we will be able to achieve that with this young squad and with a couple more additions. So let's see what we can do. I'd like to thank everybody who has been liking and subscribing recently. We're now at 179 subscribers. We're still lacking on the likes though. If you could keep smashing that, because that really does help push it out to other people, and we are a new channel, and I'd like to thank everyone who is contributing, because whether you're watching or whatever you're doing, I'm very, very grateful, so thank you. But let's push that up to the 200 mark, which is our next target. We're not far off it now. You're all FM legends, and I'll see you all in the next one.